Oh, welcome back to the Matrix. You know, the Matrix, you are the Matrix. How's it feel, Neo? And today, we got ourselves a banger. Daily market news analysis. What is up? How's everyone feeling out of 10? Let me know down in the comments down below. Make sure you guys are spamming that like button, hitting that share, so other people can spam that like button. We've had a bit of a turkey rally today. Bitcoin's up from 80K all the way up to $89,000 was the high of the day. And we're going to get into the charts and the TA. Bit of a turkey rally. So as of the time of recording, though, Bitcoin currently sitting at $87,863. We did have a really nice close on Sunday. We're going to be kind of in the same boat on Sunday again. We're going to need to hold above $83,000 by Sunday. And we've had some fundamental chance that the market priced in no cuts as of last Friday. And then, well, so a month ago, actually, it was 90+% that there would be cuts. And then as of last Friday, there was a 60% chance that there would be no cuts. And then just this week, out of nowhere, it's flipped back the other way. Now 80% cuts there will be, or 80% chance there will be cuts. And again, it does not matter. It does not matter. It does not matter what if they cut or they don't cut. What matters is what the market anticipates. And right now, the market doesn't know what to think, and they have flip-flopped 3 times now. And that's very weird to see. And I made a video sort of explaining, what it would be like. Because this is very unusual. It's not a normal thing to happen for the market to... Generally, the market knows what's up. Generally, you cannot, trick the market, so to speak. So I made a sports analysis or analogy. It would be similar to if the Rams were playing the Bills, no major injuries, the game opens at -7 for the Rams, and then all of a sudden on Wednesday, it's now -7 for the Bills. Completely flipped as to who they think is going to win. And then on Friday, it flips back to -7 again for the Rams. So that's basically what's happened, except for the only difference is that makes it even more weird is Jerome Powell's not going to tear his ACL. There's no injuries for the Fed, so it's even stranger that this has been going on. Fear and greed has been in the 20s and below in extreme fear for 2+ weeks now. 2+ weeks now. Insanity. Yesterday, we put in a new record for CMC as well. But what do I think is going to happen? So, first thing that's pretty common off of the initial, even if you're cooked and it's just off the Hades, you don't just fall in a straight line. That's not real. Like, I don't know why people just have this idea that you're just going to fall in a straight line, no bounces. That's not real. Even if you're going to land at 70K, even if you're going to land at 50K, I don't believe that. You're going to have multiple bounces along the way. And a good landing spot for your first bounce is what we're seeing. It's off the 100. That's what I've been talking about. A dead cat bounce off of the 100 moving average is very common. But check it out. We are way deeper into this than what you think. Way deeper. Mike is cutting out. Is that for everyone? How about now? No issues here. Okay. Nonetheless, we are way deeper into this than what we think. So I'm using the Heikin-Ashi candles. That's what I always use. That's what I've used forever. And we can look at the regular candles. I have no issue with that, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it based off of the Fibonacci candles first, and then we're gonna talk about my biggest fear. Okay, this is not what I'm predicting, but my biggest fear in the market. Now, as of the time of recording, the RSI is oversold on the weekly. We're at 30.83. Okay. Now, the last three bear market lows, as in the lowest that we got on the RSI and the selling climax was already in. Throughout the history, you can see the dinosaur. The history of Bitcoin, the magic number is 25. So let's take a look at it. By the way, what number are we at right now? 31. 31. Okay. So first one, bear market low, January 2015. 25. That's where we got to on the RSI. Guess what? The bottom was in. We never went lower. Never to this day. That was the bear market low. Okay, let's continue. 2018. The bottom was in. We have never went lower to this day. 25 RSI on the weekly. That's where we got to. We're going to talk about the C19. It got to 33, 32.5. This is my biggest fear, by the way. My biggest fear is the C19. We'll circle back to that. All right. 25, Luna, June of 2022. Bitcoin obviously went lower from 17 to down to 16, but Ethereum did not. This is, in Wyckoff, you call this the selling climax. All right, we'll show it real quick. In Wyckoff, this is the selling climax. Oh my God. Okay. That's what that was for Bitcoin. Luna, the selling climax was Luna for Bitcoin. We went lower. Oh my God. I need to just find a new website because this is ridiculous. We went lower in the secondary test and in the spring. Ethereum did not. XRP did not. Most of the market did not. In fact, if I look at the total 2, we'll show that. If I look at the total 2 or the total 3, it never went lower than June. All right. So that's the selling climax of the market bottom. Bitcoin went slightly lower from 17K down to 15.5. That was the absolute bottom, but not for 144 days. But guess where the number was? 25 yet again. Okay. On the weekly RSI. Again, where are we right now? We're at 30. We are at 30. I just showed you the entire history of Bitcoin. And what does a bear market bottom look like? We are much, much closer than you think. Now, we're going to talk about we're going so much lower. How much lower? How much lower? How much lower is so much lower? I'm showing you the history, the data. Now, here's my biggest fear. Was there a time, genuinely, this is my biggest fear. I'm not joking. I do not, let me preface, I do not want to give anyone hope. I do not want to give anyone hope. Let me preface good. I do not want to give anyone hope. That's not what I'm here to do. This is my biggest fear as someone who analyzes the market. Because what is my base case with a high probability? What have I been saying this entire time? I think we're going to bounce to 100K, and I think we're going to roll over down to 75, 70K and accumulate, and that's going to be it. That's my base case. I've showed that. I've talked about that ad nauseum. That is how I think our bear market is going to end up. something like this. Something like so. That's what I think our bear market's going to look like. Okay? My biggest fear is that we're doing this right here. This was a V bottom. Okay? Now, we're going to say V bottom. We're going to say what you think it probably means, and then we're going to talk about what actually happened. So what you probably think a V bottom means is like you recover within the same week and then you're out of there. That's not what happened with Bitcoin. In fact, it was 15 weeks. 21 weeks before you took out this range over here. 35 weeks before this height was taken out. And then 38 weeks before the all-time high was taken out. So this was a proper V bottom, but the least amount of time was 15 weeks, okay? And by the way, it was not called a V bottom. It was not called a V bottom until a new all-time high had already happened, and you know, it was 15 plus weeks before a V bottom was what it was called. Now, what happened here? We got down to 33 off of the big liquidation black swan, and we V-bottomed out of here. Now, why is this my biggest fear? Because I will be bearish, most likely, at 100K. Because what do I think is going to happen is I think we're going to bounce, go to 100K, and then roll over into 75K and accumulate. That's my base case. This is my biggest fear. And what I am worried, too, is I think a lot of people will have the same thoughts as me, that we're going to bounce to 100K and roll over. And I don't like it when a lot of people think the same thing, especially what I think. Especially what I think. So that's my biggest fear. That I don't think that there's a high probability of that, but that is on the table. And the reason it's my biggest fear is because I'm going to be bearish at 100K, because that's what we would expect. That's what happened over here, by the way. Back in 2021, you fell straight down, bounced off of the 100, came back up, had a really big rally, 43% rally, before rolling back over. That's basically us going to 100K. It's not even a 43% rally. It's like a 20% rally from the bottom. 100K is 20. It's half of that rally right there. So 24% is all that was from the absolute wick bottom. I'm going to be bearish, most likely, at 100K. So that is my biggest fear. Now, let's talk about Ethereum, which has, you know, I put it out in my Telegram this morning. Let's go on the daily chart here. That I put this out this morning at like 2,800, that I thought we were going to get to 2,933. I didn't think it was going to happen today, but it did. Now, I'm expecting a bounce off of Ethereum. Here is the whole history. Every time we've gotten this oversold with a cross to the upside, we immediately rallied to the 200. Every single time. All right? Right here, rally to the 200. Right here, rally to the 200. Right here, rally to the 200. And we have gotten extremely oversold on the daily with a cross to the upside on the daily. Right now, Ethereum, the 200 is about $3,500. That's what I expect in the medium term for Ethereum. By the way, Bitcoin basically has the same thing going on. Extremely oversold on the daily with a cross to the upside. The 200 is at 110. That's going to be a confusing time. You can believe that. That will be a very confusing time when we get to 110. If and when it happens. There's a lot more smoke to this rally than what people are putting out as well. I talked about this on Friday. I don't have the exact graphic. Here we go. So this was a all-time high of volume on ETFs for Bitcoin on Friday. Okay. It doesn't. So, and that was at 80K. So what does that tell us? That tells us that institutional buying power is coming in at 80K. Does that mean that's the bottom? No, it doesn't. But this means that this likely was our local bottom. And we'll see how long it lasts. We'll see how long the rally lasts. I'm not sure. Like, we still have a long way to go. For sure. For sure. Yeah, man, we're going lower. When? Mike is fine. When, bro? What about the death cross forming on ETH? Death crosses, I've made video about death crosses. You can look those up. There's been I don't know about Ethereum. I can look it up on Ethereum. I can do some homework on that. But I know there's been 11 death crosses on Bitcoin. 9 of them, the bottom was already in. 10, one of them we went lower. I think it was like 40 or 50 days later we went lower. And then the other one was neutral. Death cross on the DXY on the weekly. Okay, that's a good point. The DXY, I was just about to talk about the DXY. It looks very weak to me. And we're at the 200. We're getting bearish divergences on the daily. And then on the weekly, we got really oversold with a cross to the downside as well. Or overbought, excuse me. So that's a good point. Also, quietly, what's been happening too, like Bitcoin dominance continues to make lower highs and lower lows. All right, we'll see if we can take out this low right here. But my God, we have put in multiple higher lows at this point. Multiple higher lows. And we've been putting in lower lows. All right, this is very quiet. Like, no one's talking about this right here. Nobody is talking about this right here. Nobody. So we'll see in the next couple days. Can we take this out? Thank you for the galaxies, bro. I appreciate you, you savage. NCT and RCS. I got you, bro. Let me finish this.
Rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
Says, what do you expect to happen tonight? I don't know what's going to happen tonight, but I think the next logical move is Ethereum to 3,500 and Bitcoin back to 100K. That's the most logical move. I assume I will be bearish once we get to 100K. Again, my biggest fear, though, is that we have had one of the craziest bear traps in history. Even so, when we look at the weekly, what is the magic number? What is the magic number on the weekly chart, guys? On the Fibonacci candles, we can look at the regular candles. It's actually more favorable. Actually, let's just do that. Let's look at the regular candles real quick, because I know that this is what you guys are probably looking at. By the way, we're having a green week off of the 100. It's not a huge one, but it's something. Let's look at where we're at right now. 36. The magic number was 26. The C19 actually got to 29. Need to move this. The 2015 bear market low was 28. The bear market low of 2011 was 35. So it's not even as clear, but it's like it's more favorable even if you measure it this way. But I like measuring it in the Fibonacci because that's what I use. But even so, we're at today, right now, we're at 36.62. The highest was 35. The lowest was 28, I think is what I said. No, 26. Like, we're within the range. We are closer than you think. Now, I don't think that that's the bear market low. That's not what I'm predicting. What I think is going to happen is we're going to have a bounce, and then we're going to roll over. We're going to go to like 75, 70, accumulate, and then that's going to be it. We'll probably will get back to that magic number of 25 again. That's what I think is going to happen. That is my base case. I am not going to be shocked, though, if we see something like this right here. I will not be shocked. Chart goes out the window when people with trillions of dollars are in play. That's crazy. That's a crazy thing to say, because guess what? Wyckoff was made not for retail. Wyckoff was made for institutions. This is a way to measure institutions. This is not how you measure retail. This is how you measure institutions. So that is not true. Squiggly lines go out the window. Sure, I'll buy that for $1. Squiggly lines go out the window when trillions of dollars are at play. Wyckoff does not. In fact, Wyckoff is stronger the more institutionalized that this gets. Because guess what? This was created 100 years ago. My God, bro. I need to find a new website for this. 100 years ago, Richard D. Wyckoff created this method with the conclusion that institutions and other large operators manipulate stock prices in their favor. Let's try it one more time. Centered around the realization that stock price trends driven primarily institutions and other large operators who manipulate stock prices in their favor. No, that is not true. The more that institutions get involved, the stronger that Wyckoff becomes. Wyckoff is weaker with retail. Actually, it was literally created to understand institutions. Literally, from the beginning. From the beginning. So no, that is not true. Base case on altcoins. The thing that has been the most confusing to me is Bitcoin Dominance is so weak right now. So weak. This is what threw me. Transparently. We had a 2-year run on Bitcoin Dominance, and we have been falling off a cliff, and we look weak as hell. And we continue to put in lower highs, and we continue to put in lower lows. So I think during any rally that we get with Bitcoin, and we're seeing it today, I think the altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin. All right, let's check out NCT. That's not going to happen. Why would you be bearish at 100K? It doesn't make sense. What's not going to happen? Why would I be bearish? Because that's what's happened every single time is we've had a dead cat bounce and then roll over. So I would just be honoring the last structure. Ain't going lower than 60s. I agree. I agree. $50K by the end of 2026. Okay, bro. I've made my peace about it, and so have you. 50K to me is the new 12K. Every single bear market, there are calls that never happen. Last season, it was 12K. At April, it was 72K. 72K was the magic number. That was everybody and their brother and their mother was calling for 72K. We never went to 72K. Never. Last bear market, it was 12K. Everybody and their brother and their mother was calling for 12K Bitcoin. We never went there. What is everyone calling for now? 50K. What am I almost certain that will not be happening? 50K. I don't think you can take into account how much institutions and ETFs have Bitcoin. Brother, all I'm doing is Wyckoff. The entire point of Wyckoff is to measure how institutions move. I assure you, I am tracking institutions. I assure you. We are cooked. Who's we? 72K. 72K is on the board. 72K is on the board. All right, let's check out NCT. I haven't looked at that one in a little while. Okay, it looks like you've lost the support here. You're touching the April lows over here. August. This is extremely oversold. 15 on the daily RSI here. The only other time you've been, let's see here. The other times you've been in the teens, let's do this one too. We'll see what that looks like. And then we'll do this one. So 20 and below. That's the threshold we're going to do here. Was this? Yeah, we'll do this one. All right, let's see what this looks like. I don't know. All right, so the last time we got below 20 on the daily was right here. We can see the local bottom was in. You had on market cap an immediate rally of 96%. Over here, we only just now made a new low. Over here, I don't think the 28-day low was in. Okay, the 28-day low was in, but 33 days later, you did make a new low. But not before a 62% rally. Right here, 28-day low was in. You made a new low 118 days later. But not before a 250% rally. The bottom was already in over here. This one you didn't have a major rally. A little rally immediately. 44%. That'll do. And then what do we got? Right here. You didn't go lower for a whole year. Immediate rally of 54%. And then right here, you did not go lower for 149 days. Immediate rally of 159%. So I think that there's strong evidence to say that the relative body or the relative low is in, and you could expect a dead cat bounce rally at least, which is probably reclaiming the structure. And what I would like to see is it to reclaim the structure and hold. That would be really good. I don't hate this chart though. On a macro, on the micro though, that's my thoughts. I think you're going to reclaim the structure over here. I don't know what the price looks like though, comparatively. Did you lose that structure? You did. But you're on top of pretty much the whole bear market over here. There you go. What's up with Solnick? I just bought $1,200, bro. I'm going to continue to buy every single week, every single month. Somebody panic sold when Bitcoin was crashing. It happens. At no point in time am I ever going to stop pushing Solnic, buying Solnic, developing Solnic. That will not be happening. So I hope to accumulate probably 10% of the supply so we can bridge to more chains. I hope to be on the Binance chain. I hope to be on, we're already on Base. We're already on AVAX. I hope to be on Binance, HBAR. Those are some good possibilities. We're on AVAX, Solana, Ethereum right now. Base, technically. So, I'd like to... Rose, I feel fine about. I want to see it get back to 2.4 cents. Let's check out RSC. Not a ton of data on this, but same thing. You're oversold, getting across the upside. I anticipate a bounce to the 200 here. That's what I think a lot of the coins are going to do, is bounce to the 200, and then we'll see, like, is it going to reclaim the bullishness, or is it just going to be a dead cat bounce or rejection? So that's about an 80% move. Thank you, Ski. Are we cooked? We're not cooked, bro. So no alt season. I didn't say that. Do I still think it's in play? Yeah, it just might take longer than we think. Sui, please. Thanks. I'll send good vibes. All right. Good vibes. For the good vibes. I appreciate good vibes. Y'all get nasty when it's not good. It's like, you know, forget about any, you get 10 things right in a row. You bet your beard 10 times in a row. You're correct, but it's what have you done for me lately, Ski? This looks like distribution, which is what we called over here. This is just really macro distribution. Listen, I had this marked out. Buying climax, UTAD. That's distribution. Let me save the... I'm going to just save the pictures. This is so annoying that they started doing this, bro. Like, why did they start doing this? People say I'm a permabull. I called the top one Sui. All right. This is what a top looks like. Buying climax, up thrust, UTAD. Documented. I called the top on Sui. UTAD. That's what I call. That's what I had that as. Now, this is micro distribution. This is macro. This is still distribution though. So now this is your markdown. You're going into the next thing is going to be accumulation. You're probably going to fill out this wick over here, which is all the way down at 3.4 billion, which is also the prior, like it wasn't even available in the past bear market. So that's probably how that's going to play out. It's probably going to look something like this. It's really oversold and you're getting across the upside. So you could get a relief rally here all the way up to the 11.3 billion. All that's on the table. But, you know, the quote bear market will probably look something like so. That's probably what that's going to look like. Ski's a permabull. This was here before I charted this. And when you're right, you drag it and brag it. That's cap, bro. That's cap. What happens is y'all are nasty. What have you done for me lately? What have you done for me lately? Ski's a permable, even though I called the top on Sui, Caspa, XRP, Land Wolf, Arrow. Ski's never bearish. Y'all get nasty. Y'all get nasty if I get anything wrong. And guess what? I shaved my beard. That's what I did. I'm accountable for when I'm wrong. Here comes the resume. Bro, go somewhere else, bro. Do you use liquidation maps at all? No, I don't. I think they're fine. They're fine. I think they're too popular personally, so I don't like... I intentionally do things that are not conventional. I do that on purpose because I don't want to have the same view as everyone else. I think that there can be value in heat maps, but I don't use them because I think they're too popular, and I don't like using things that are too popular. How long will it take Solnick to recover? Last time, we went from 400K to 10.1 million in 85 days. Quicker than you think. Do you see correlation between options expiring and crypto price drop? I have not looked. Kindly do DOT. I don't mind DOT. I think DOT's still good value. What does this mean for alts? It means that I was wrong about Bitcoin, so I was accountable and I shaved my beard. And we'll see what... But what I think it means is it's the shortest bear market ever. That's what I think it means. If we're not doing the V-bottom C19 crash, which is on the board. But either way, it's not going to be this, like, see you in 4 years. Like, that's nonsense. I think worst case, it sets us back a good 6 months. I still think that they'll run. I think it's just like, you know, I had the wrong read on timing. I get things wrong. He says, forget that guy. I only watch you and a handful of others. You're pretty knowledgeable. Listen, I'm not here to be anyone's savior. Truly, I'm not. I'm not. All I'm saying is I stand by my track record. My goal is to empower you. I am not Neo. I'm not the one. I am Morpheus. I'm trying to empower you guys, teach you guys how to fish, so you guys can be the pilot of your own plane. You know what I'm saying? I stand firmly by my track record. I understand I haven't gotten everything right, and I won't. But I will put my track record against anybody. Period. Period. Wins and losses. Period. What do you think about silver? My macro target for silver is $78. Silver is red hot, however. Let's look at silver. Not weird at all to get rejected here. My average price on silver is $20. I have not taken profit yet. I feel fine to take profit here, though, because my macro target is $78. That could take a decade to play out. Silver is not a meme coin. And it's already at a huge level. So this is my read on silver. This is accumulation, sign of strength, back test. This is your markup. Now we're at a big level of resistance, which is the prior all-time highs. It's not weird to slightly make a new all-time high and then back test. My macro target is $78. Silver's not a meme coin, though. It could take a decade for it to get there. So I haven't taken profit on silver. This is hot, though. This is hot on the daily with a cross to the downside. This is the weekly. This is not the daily. This is the weekly. Overbought. So what I think is going to happen is we're going to get rejected, and come back into the 40s. That's what I think is going to happen. So my average price on silver is $20. I haven't taken profit yet. I probably will. I probably will pretty soon. This is a pretty damn big bearish divergence too. Like really big. So this is the daily. We got really, really overbought right here. Came back down, came back up, double top, same price. Look at where the RSI is. That's a super big bearish divergence. So what do I think is going to happen? I think silver is going to get rejected sooner than later and come back to the 40s. My macro target for silver is $78. My average price on silver is about $20. I'm probably going to take profit on silver really soon here. That's what I think I'm going to do. I love silver. Silver is my favorite asset to accumulate. It's probably my favorite one. Buy more Solnick. I'll be buying Solnick every single week. The real ones are here when times are bad. I'm here when times are bad, being accountable. How strong do you feel VeChain can hit all-time highs next run if this is over? Minimum of a retrace, but pretty strong. I'm buying any good silver dips. Ski, let's do a virtual farm tour, please. Want to see it? Ski's Farm, at Ski's Farm on YouTube. I've been documenting the whole thing. I haven't uploaded for a little while, though. How long do relief rallies last? How strong do you feel about it? I feel very strong that we're going to get a relief rally. Minimum. Very, very strong about a relief rally. I've been calling for that obnoxiously too long. I understand I've been calling for it. My biggest weakness as an analyst, if you've been watching me any amount of time, you know this to be true. I see things way too far in advance and then I move off of it. That's my biggest weakness. Just straight up. So how long did the last one last? Like we went on this downtrend here and had a massive rally. How long did this rally last? So the immediate rally from March was 10 days. And then we came back to 74K from 78K. This rally was basically 51 days. Now, you might say that that's not really akin to what we're experiencing, and this would be the other two. So you could say this was a relief rally. You could say that this was a relief rally. The immediate rally here was 31 days or 109 days. But there was some chop and grueling in between there. This was 40 days. This to me is kind of the worst case scenario. And this would be like a bounce to 100K, rolling over, going lower. But this rally was 72 days. So there you go. That's your timeline. About, a week to a couple months. Ultimately, this is basically what I think our, quote, bear market's going to look like. Right here. I think we're going to rally to 100, come back down, 75K. 72K. Somewhere in there. Boom. We could go all the way up to 110, come back to 78, back up to 100, back down to 72. And then that's your bear market. I have two scenarios. This is my bear case or my base case. My bull case is what we're doing, the C19. which would be what you're saying, mind, body, tech. My bull case is we're doing the exact thing as the C19. I just talked about my base case. Let's talk about my bull case. And low-key, my biggest fear. So RSI, we're at 30 on the Fibonacci candles. But look at the C19. We got down to 33, which if we got a bounce here, this is going to be like more closer to 33 when it's all said and done. And we had a V-shaped recovery. Stimulus checks. Same time. Like, I need to figure out when was stimulus checks. When did they start talking about stimulus checks versus when did they actually get injected into the market? When did they actually hit people's bank accounts? I am pretty sure it was August of 2020. But we already had a major rally. I'm pretty sure the first stimulus checks was in August. This is already a major rally, though. This is my bull case. This is my biggest fear, is that we have a bounce off of the same level that we're at right now. Why is it my biggest fear? Because I'm going to be probably pretty bearish around 100K. And I think that this would be the most wrong-footing move possible for everybody. V-Chain retraced 20 cents. When do you think the next leg starts up? What are you classifying as the next leg? Are you talking about a relief rally or are you talking about a new all-time high? Why would that be wrong? What do you mean by that? We still having a bull run? Yes, we're having close to an all-time high. That's a difficult question to answer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer it in my base case and I'm going to answer it in my bull case. I'm going to give you two scenarios because I don't think it's fair, because I don't know which one we're doing. I am leaning heavily, 70% probability is what I would give it right now, that we're doing something like this. This would have us bouncing to 100, 108, 110,000, rolling back over to 78, bouncing back up to 100, going ultimately at 72. The new all-time high in this scenario would be March of 26. A proper breakout would be May of 26. That's my base case. Now, if we were doing the C19, to me is my biggest fear. This would be more bullish on a time frame and on a explosion. New all-time high was here. I don't know that this would be any quicker, to be honest. I actually don't know that this would be quicker. Woo, doggy. That structure looks pretty close, though. Man, I need to bring this out further. That looks pretty dang close. March. May. So the same. March or May. There you go. This would be way more explosive, though. Man, let me do that again because that... Boy, oh boy. I don't even want to entertain it. I don't want to give people hope, to be honest with you. I am not joking when I tell you that this is my biggest fear, guys. Because I think it's going to wrong foot Myself included. Like, I will be wrong-footed along with everyone else. So I need to really study this and make sure. Because it's going to be really confusing at 110. Like, it's going to be so confusing. That's going to be so confusing. All right. Man, oh man. That's about the same violence of the C19 from a structural standpoint. Let's line this up best we can. Oh, man. This would have us at 200K, by the way. Man, that would be insane. You know, the memes were just like, you're not ready for this. Bro, I'm not ready for this, actually. You know, the memes were just like, you're not ready for this. Bro, I'm not ready for this. I promise I'm going to be bearish at 100K. I'm going to, like, really keep it out there because I don't want to be completely wrong-footed. It's not my base case. Bitcoin probably goes to 42. Not a chance. I'll shave my head if we go to 42. How about that? Why are you so afraid of a V-shaped recovery happening? Because it would wrong foot everybody. The only people that believe this are like permabulls. This would be the most painful though, actually. If we're keeping it a buck. There's no chance that Bitcoin goes to 40K. None. Zero. Like, World War III couldn't get us below 74K. What's it going to take? Does it align with Fibs? It does line up with Fibs, yes. Because the 3, that does align with the Fibs, actually. Because the 3618, let's just do that, is 207. Yes. Listen, I don't want to give people hopium. I'm not trying to do that. This would be crazy. Let's pull it from the actual buying climax and not the upthrust. Oh boy. Oh boy. Don't sit here and talk me into this, bro. But that's me. Could hit 55. 55, maybe. I still think, like, I think it's very unlikely that we get even below 60K, to be honest. If we're getting to 55, it's a wick. I don't see a scenario where we just hang out at 55. I really don't even see a, like, the highest probability is 70. That's what I said at 126, bro. There's videos of me talking about what does the bear market look like. I said 70K at 126. That's still what I think. No chance it goes to 200K this cycle. What is this cycle to you? What's the name of it? I use TradingView. Sorry, guys. Are you talking about this orange thing, bro? Is that what you're talking about, Jacob? I gotta ask, what's this BS rumor going around TikTok that Bitcoin was started by Epstein? There's just nonsense. Every time Bitcoin pulls back, you'll hear the most. Last time it was Putin started Bitcoin. I've heard Putin. I've heard Hitler started it. I've heard Epstein started it. Everyone started it. All the bad guys in history. The CIA started Bitcoin. All insert your favorite bad guy. He started Bitcoin. TikTok rug pulled. The part you're moving. The part I'm moving. This is the only thing I'm moving. Are whales accumulating? Whales are accumulating. 75K next. 75 is on the board. 75 is my base case, actually, but not before 100. Not before a bounce. Whales are literally mathematically accumulating. That is a fact. Friday was the biggest volume day ever. Biggest volume day ever. That's why there's smoke to this rally. There's real smoke to the fire of this rally. If the FOMC bullish, I don't see us going much. I think we're going to rally into the FOMC meeting, and then we'll see. The horizontal lines. Oh, that's just this right here, bro. You talking about this cross? That's just this. You can just change it. You can make it a dot. I think. There you go. You can make it arrow. I probably should do an arrow, to be honest. I don't know why I do. I probably should do like a dot or an arrow. It doesn't matter. What is this? A magic wand? You probably just have it on there. That's probably what I should do. But I guess I do the cross because I can get the exact number. For presentation purposes, I probably should do the arrow. But it is what it is. I'm waiting to 78K to buy again. I think that's a good price. You know, what's the difference between 80 and 78 though? The CIA made Bitcoin. I'm seeing those comments. You know what else the CIA made? Just because they made it. Listen, I'll buy that for $1. Let's say the CIA made Bitcoin. Here's my thoughts on that. I'm going to just, for argument purposes, I would just concede. Yes, they made it. Okay? What does that mean? Like, people have so much faith in the government that they're capable of doing what they say they're going to do. As a government employee of 10 years, I can assure you, they suck at doing what they say they're going to do. Terrible. All right, you know what else the CIA created? LSD. For the intention of mind control. Look it up. It had the opposite effect. So maybe they created Bitcoin for the intention of making every transaction public, for the intention of controlling us and our money. But just because of their intentions doesn't mean that that's the effect, the desired effect. So there you go. That's my thoughts on this. On that. But yeah, every time we get a dip, there's a bad guy who created Bitcoin. It happens every time. I think we get 50 basis rate cuts. That would be insane. Right now, the market has it at 81%, basically. Let's refresh this, make sure we have the most up-to-date numbers. 81% that we are getting a 25 basis point cut, which is kind of crazy because they keep flipping it. Last Friday, this was 60% no cuts. Last month, it was 95% cuts. Then Friday, it was 60% no cuts. Now today, it's 81% cuts. That's crazy. I've never seen that. I don't think that's a bad take. Move down 78, 82. Move to 89, 95. We basically already had a move from there, though. We already had a move from... You're basically calling out the move that happened today because we were at 80K on Friday, and now we went to 89K today. January 27th, 2026. I think we rally into rate cuts, and then we'll see like how violent was it. If it's super violent, we start getting bearish divergences, then that's probably the end of the rally. If it's not super violent, then yeah, we could rally into the 27th of January. But I think minimum, we get a buy the rumor, sell the news for this. And then we'll see how violent it is. We'll see if there's bearish divergences showing up. The unknown. All right, guys. Right? That's going to be it for this time. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. I will never message you first. Those are scammers. For the love of God, do not get scammed. All my live streams are available on YouTube forever. So if you miss a live stream, you can subscribe on YouTube and hit that bell icon so you never miss a video. I'll be live. I'm going to try to be live. Okay, so this week's going to be weird because it's Thanksgiving. I am leaving on Wednesday. I'm going to bring my stuff with me. I'm not going to be live on Thursday for sure. I'll probably do a morning live stream on Wednesday. Like market open live stream. And then Thursday, I'm not going to be live. And then Friday, I might do a live stream from my phone or something like that. I might do it from my camera. I'm not sure. So the live streams are going to be sporadic through the weekend. But I'll try to put it out on Twitter an hour before I go live so everyone knows. But I'm not going anywhere. No matter how bloody, how scary, how terrible things get, I will be making videos, uploading content, trying to bring you guys as much value as I can. I get things wrong, but I stand by my track record. Good, bad, and ugly. I will constantly try to bring as much value to you guys as I can. I'm not anybody's savior. I'm not here to be anyone's savior. I'm not the king. I'm not the savior. None of that stuff. I just tell you what I think. Try to bring as much value. Tell you why I think it. Try to teach you guys how to think for yourself. Fish for yourself. And then let the results be where they land. All right. But that's going to be it for this time. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Peace, love, prosperity. God first. God bless.